Viewers, today on the case, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court order on stray dogs. A two-judge bench of the Supreme Court on Monday passed an order directing authorities in Delhi NCR to swiftly end the dog menace. But it appears the Supreme Court is looking to review this order. Why exactly is the court now considering a review? Before we get to that, it's important to understand why this order came in the first place. In the national capital itself, the stray menace has tormented the residents of Delhi for decades. Just look at these figures that we're talking about. These are the figures of stray dogs: 10 lakhs in the year 2023. Dog bite cases, 90,000 reported from just January to July in 2025. This is, of course, the statistics as far as Delhi is concerned. It's not restricted, however, to the national capital region. Across the country, stray dogs have created problems for years. Now look at these figures coming in from across the country. Stray dogs, of course, at 6.2 crores. And of course, that's the statistics as far as dogs are concerned. Bite cases reported in 2024 in a parliamentary reply were over 37 lakhs. Rabies deaths recorded are at 54. Now, this is exactly why the Supreme Court seems to have taken an iron fist approach and has called for thorough action against stray dogs to end this menace and the risk it has put the ordinary citizens through. Here's what the Supreme Court has said in its order on Monday. They've said that society should be free from stray dogs. They've also gone on to say that immediate steps are needed to end this particular menace. They also say that they're not doing this for us. It is for public interest that this is being done. They've gone on to add that young kids at no cost should fall prey to rabies, and also they say that no sentiments of any nature should be involved. Will animal activists be able to bring rabies victims back? There's also legal action proposed against those who are going to resist relocation of dogs. But is it even practical to implement this order? Many have raised questions about the mammoth investment required in the infrastructure, the time, the money, etc. to cater to the entire stray population in the national capital. What are the figures we're talking about? 10 lakh dogs in the national capital is what we're looking at. 3 crores per day as far as feeding costs is what we're looking at. 40 to 45 square feet per dog space would be required. 20 under the MCD number of animal birth control series is what birth control centers is what we're talking about that currently exist, and the maintenance of these also has come under question. Supreme Court, however, has with this order led to a lot of public outcry. There are activists, there are politicians who are strongly raising their voice against this order, even celebrities coming in. We've seen Rahul Gandhi come out to say that voiceless souls are not problems to be erased. There's also Menace Gandhi who's come out to say it's a strange judgment given by an angry person. Caging all strays is not a solution, it's erasure, says Janvi Kapoor. Today it's the dogs, tomorrow who will it be, asks Varun Dhawan, actor. Increasing population of Indies is not their fault, says Ravina Tandon, who's also an actor. And now we're looking at a situation where the Supreme Court could review its own order, and this seems to have happened in a span of just 2 days. On Monday, we saw the two-judge bench pass orders on strays, orders to immediately curb the stray menace. On Wednesday, the Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gawai, has constituted a 3-judge bench, and this 3-judge bench will review the order of Monday. Let's quickly take this up for debate.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us now is Ambika Shukla, citizen activist, trustee of People for Animals. Tushar Gupta is a political analyst joining us. Ambika Shukla, certainly, of course, a huge shot in the arm for activists who've been campaigning on this issue for the last several days. There's several celebrities, politicians, etc., who've come out to raise their voice on it. Are you sure, or are you convinced that the court will take action to at least, to some extent, remove the stringency of the orders that existed earlier, because many were saying that the targets, the logistics of it on ground are not very practicable?
Yes, we are absolutely confident that the issue will receive the attention, the deliberation and the wisdom of this court, because the original order was actually passed in a most, I would say, firstly it was hasty, secondly it was passed without the basic facet of fairness, which is hearing all stakeholders, the people who represent the animal behavior, the animal needs, the animal interests, the animal welfare, were actually excluded from even a hearing. So when you pass an order like that, it is one-sided, it is without the knowledge and expertise of the domain experts. If you have a headache or a medical problem, you would consult a doctor naturally. If you are dealing with an animal issue, surely you would want to listen to the people who work with animals on ground. The original order did not do that. I am sure that in its wisdom, this court will take that into consideration and understand if there is a problem, we need to start with basic information. The numbers that you quoted, sir, whether you talk about 10 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, these are all out of a hat. There has been no census, so we do not know the figures we are even talking. How many dogs are there in the NCR area has not been seen. So you cannot arrive at a solution if you do not have the basic facts at your disposal. That would be
we are going by the facts that are there before us, Pam, but let me bring in Tushar. Yeah, let me bring in Tushar on that note. Tushar, it is a one-sided order. Say the activists, we weren't even heard, and you have to take into account the people who've been working on this, because this matter's been before courts for quite some time. You have to look into it. Perhaps there's been a failure, and certainly there is a problem. Nobody's denying the kind of incidents that have been reported even today. There are dog bites of children that have been reported from Karnataka. The point over here, though, is that you have to have a holistic order if you have to have it implemented and for it to take action and have effect on ground. Tushar Gupta.
You know, one of the justices who's going to listen to the case tomorrow had previously remarked that if you want to feed the stray dogs, why don't you do it at your home? No one is stopping you. So I'm hoping tomorrow the Supreme Court will only double down on its order, which it gave yesterday on stray dog menace. It's a problem. It needs to be addressed. Number two, I don't care about the people who represent the dogs, because often they do not work with the dogs. They just want to protect the dogs in the garb of God knows what. Are they going to be accountable for the 37 lakh bites that happened in India in 2024? Are they going to take responsibility for the expenditure of the victims? Are they going to groom the dogs, train the dogs, feed the dogs forever? See, it's very nice to say dogs are humans, dogs are compassionate, all that, philosophy we keep hearing. None of these stakeholders who call themselves stakeholders, who apparently work with the dogs, they never take them home. If you are so compassionate, if dogs are so human, if they need you, take them home, please get them off the streets. At the end of the day, majority of the people are paying their taxes to the local government or the larger government authorities, and they trust the government to do what they deem fit. They do not work with animal organizations or some NGOs who suddenly appear out of thin air. And Madhav, I must say, we are not a very serious country. In a country of 140 crore people, where more than 5 crore cases are pending before the courts, if dogs, and that too stray dogs, are getting 2 hearings in less than 48 hours, it's a matter of introspection for us as a state. This is not how it should work. I know of people, of Kashmiri Pandits, who did not get a fair hearing. Humans who are alive before the Supreme Court, but stray dogs did get hearing, all because of the nonsense like, oh, we have to save the stray dogs. Save them for what? For dog bites? For little children to be mauled? For elderlies to be tormented? What nonsense is this, Madhav?
And Ambika Shukla, there is a very valid concern that there are senior citizens, that there are children who are getting bit by these dog bites. And whoever are the weaker sections of society are the most vulnerable. Even in areas where the economically weaker section stays, where a lot of these bites do happen, and that is a reality that we've seen reported over the years. The point being made over here, and this is what the bench says, that who will, in fact, what will you do? What will the activists and others do for those who've lost their lives to these dog bites which have led to rabies and eventually deaths? Can you bring them back is a question that the bench has posed.
Let us start with the very premise of the bites. How many bites have there been actually taken place? The figures that are being bandied about are again false or fictitious. We put in an RTI to AIMS asking how bites were reported by the medical system. We found out, and AIMS has certified, that bites are calculated as per vial usage. Now, to start with, 1 bite is not equal to 1 vial, as is being reported. 1 bite is equal to 5 vials. So firstly, your figures, your official figures, if there are any, are multiplied 5 times. Secondly, there is no differentiation between bites from pet dogs and bites from street dogs. Thirdly, monkey bites, rodent bites are also included in the same, as also are the prophylactic doses taken by the entire animal welfare world who works with animals on ground to avoid risk. So all of these are miscounted as bites, and we have these huge, enormous figures that frighten everybody. So, but let us, start looking at it in perspective. This gentleman just talked about other issues. Let me tell you, I'll give you a comparative example. We are talking about public safety. Where does public safety occur? On the street. That is where street dogs exist, correct? You have said on many occasions, it has been pointed out, that India has the highest number of street dogs. All right, we agree. What is the total number of rabies deaths in India? In a country of 1.5 billion, the count of rabies is 54. And this has been brought down from 20,000. So we are very close to being a rabies-free country. Secondly, you look at a comparative danger on the street, traffic. We have only 11% of the world's vehicles, yet we have the highest number of traffic deaths in the world. 10 lakh deaths a year. And I'm not talking about injuries, I'm not talking about permanent disabilities. Deaths. In 3.5 minutes, every 3.5 minutes, 1 Indian dies on the road because of a traffic accident.
Right.
Both exist in the same sphere, whether it's street dogs and street traffic.
Fair point.
Look at the comparison. If you should be concentrating on public safety, aren't our priorities a little skewed? Are you impounding cars? Are you jailing drivers?
Well,
are you doing anything to remove this menace? Should people start walking then?
No, that's
because
a fair
we
point.
would save
That's a
10
fair
lakh
point.
lives.
But
Then
this
we
is
save those
a
lives.
this is a girl.
Then
I
those
just before I
drivers didn't
go
bring
across to
that
Tushar, this is a case that has been reported from Karnataka just today of a young girl who's been bitten by a dog. This is in Srirangapatna in Karnataka, if I'm not mistaken. And this is unfortunately, however we choose to ignore the figures, say they are, sugar-coated, they are exaggerated,
let me
whatever we choose to go,
explain to
ma'am,
you.
the fact is people are getting bitten. And we cannot run away from that fact. There is a problem that exists in our big cities and in other parts of the country.
No. Can I, Madhav? Hold on. Madhav, very lazily...
Okay, Tushar first and then I'm coming to you. Tushar Gupta, yeah.
No,
Coming to
very
Ambika Shukla,
lazily-
just a minute, yeah.
Very lazily, she has compared road accidents with dog bites. Fair enough. Let's take her point at face value. If someone causes a road accident, the person behind the wheel or the one riding the vehicle is charge sheeted, is prosecuted, is sent to jail. There is a case against them. Every time a dog bites, will one of these dog lovers come forward and take responsibility for every single dog bite in India? I don't care if it's 37 lakhs or 1/5 of it. I don't care. For every single dog bite. Can we lock up one of these dog lover activists in the jail? If they're okay with it, I'm okay with stray dogs on the streets. If you want to compare road accidents with dog bites, there are people who are punished for road accidents. Can we punish animal activists, dog lovers, and these activists, pseudo-activists for every dog bite that occurs? If you agree with it, only then make a case for stray dogs on the street. Otherwise, please don't compare apples and oranges. You come across as looking foolish.
Ambika Shukla.
Yeah, I'd like to respond. Firstly, it is the people who you so derogatory call animal activists doing this, doing that. It is the animal activists who are driving the sterilization and vaccination program. If our rabies cases have come down from 20,000 to 54 within just a few years, it is because of the work done on ground. Okay? And the ABC program, the Animal Birth Control Program, which is a WHO program. Mind you, WHO is not a veterinary organization. It is not an animal welfare organization. It is the apex international human health body. And it has certified that the ABC program, which involves sterilization and vaccination of dogs, is the only scientific and proven way to curb dog numbers, to reduce dog numbers, curb bites, and eliminate rabies. And this is the program that is being driven by animal activists. It is they who are getting dogs sterilized. It is often at their own cost. It is they who are getting dogs vaccinated every day.
Maybe so, ma'am, but the problem has come to such an extent where people are beginning to see, there's a huge public sentiment that enough is enough. We have to arrive at a drastic solution. But very quickly, Tushar Gupta, you're undermining the role that these activists have played is the argument coming in from Ambika Shukla's side. They have played a very important role, and the total number of rabies deaths, if they've come down, credit has to be given there. Quick response, please.
No, then there are humans also who are taking out road safety measures. There are humans also who are telling people to drive safely. See, this is the problem with these hypocrites. They like to take responsibility for whatever good happens on the streets. Oh, look, we sterilized the dogs. We are taking care of the dogs. Also take responsibility for what goes wrong when these street dogs bite people. That they do not want to do. That they really just want to shake their hands off from. This is the hypocrisy that can no longer work. If they cannot take responsibility, let the state take responsibility, and this menace needs to come to an end. It's not about people like us, Madhav. Look at the delivery partners, people who deliver, groceries and food. Midnight, they're chased by dogs from their two-wheelers and EV bikes. Can you imagine the plight? The struggles they go through, and people coming on television, within their apartments with all their privilege, they say, oh, but we are working with animals, let them be on the streets. What kind of nonsense is this? Can we, for once, start becoming a serious country?
Okay, is this about elite privilege? Are there larger issues involved? Certainly a cross-section of society that is impacted by this, and we will have to, of course, see what the Supreme Court does as far as this particular case is concerned. Will there be another solution that the Supreme Court comes up with? All eyes on the bench for that. Ambika Shukla, Tushar Gupta, thanks so much for joining us this evening.